The Indian Arts Research Center.
At the School for Advanced Research.
These collections are extraordinary. Textiles, jewelry.
Their pottery collection is phenomenal.
The Indian Arts Research Center.
At the School for Advanced Research.
It's a place that honors our traditions.
It has the ability to work with the Native communities that most museums don't have.
The Indian Arts Research Center.
We're sitting in the Indian Arts Research Center, which is on the SAR campus.
The spirit of SAR resides in the vault with these magical historic pots.
We have a collection of about 12,000 pieces. The collection was started back in 1922.
And you have to understand what was going on during the 1920s when this was all going on. There was this ideal that had been carried forth from the turn of the century about the vanishing American. And it was thought that there would be a tremendous acculturation process where the Native people really wouldn't have their native arts, would not have their culture intact.
SAR thought, we better start collecting it, and we'll have a fine collection for generations to come.
We continued to expand, continued to acquire.
Over the years, the school has developed what we refer to as a really fine systematic research collection.
That serves both as a repository, but also has the mission of providing a place of inspiration for contemporary Indian artists through our Indian Art Fellowship programs.
I'm Kiowa from Oklahoma, and I am a beadworker.
I'm from Santa Clara Pueblo. I make sculptures out of clay and bronze.
I'm from Nambe Pueblo, and I'm a micaceous clay potter.
At one time, I called myself the oldest Navajo woman painting in the reservation abstraction.
I'm here on the Dobkin Fellowship.
I was the first recipient of the Dubin Fellowship.
They give you a place to live and a studio to work in. And the Dobkin was a 3-month fellow with money.
Fellowship here at the school gives them that opportunity to not have to worry about how they're going to feed their family, how they're going to take care of their rent. And they can work as much as they want, experiment with different things, and just explore.
To be here, relocated in a new environment, really put my mind in a really good place.
It's intoxicating, you know, to be an artist and come in and studying these collections.
I could come in and look at the pieces, and I didn't even have to put on gloves.
I was kind of overwhelmed by the sense of history that's contained in the pottery.
There's this incredible culture that we come from that really fed us spiritually. And all of that influenced what came out of us in a creative way.
Clay among the American Southwestern Pueblo groups, they look at it as a sacred thing. It's a combination of Mother Earth and water and that cycle of fertility and survival. How it's formed and the materials with which it's formed has a philosophy that's brought to the collection itself.
There's a whole relationship to the materials that they have to use. A basket weaver wants to make a basket. Whatever materials that they're going to use, they have to harvest it. There are songs and there's prayers that they sing when they are gathering these. Then once they gather them, then they have to sort them and they have to prepare them. And once they do that, then they can begin weaving with them. Part of you goes into those pieces. There's a sense, there's a feeling from these pieces that are in here that are alive.
When I first sat down here, I just kind of asked the energy of all the pottery in here, all of the people whose lives are represented in this room, and there's so many, and you can just look around you and feel the energy of all these people who made them.
There's a kind of a heartbeat here. It's almost like a sound coming off the pottery. I hear that deep bass drum sound, boom, 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 boom. It echoes through, it's very powerful. The essence of this place is that heartbeat, that drum beat that moves out from that pot that reverberates through the whole space.
It was just a wonderful experience, and I created some of the most interesting work during that time period.
In the Dubin studio that we worked in, there's photographs of all of us all the way around the room. I was just like, wow, this is a fantastic organization. I mean, they really got some of the most innovative and interesting contemporary artists working today.
We also have seminars here and convocations. We bring 10 Native artists together and they talk about their work, they talk about their issues at home, their identities as both artists and uncles and fathers, and how that impacts them as artists.
We were meeting with other potters that worked in the same medium, and together we were able to share ideas.
We have books that come out of the Indian Arts Research Center from convocations that they hold.
SAR's press has had some really fantastic books come out of it. Books that I knew long before I knew anything about SAR. I knew about these books. I had been reading them in college.
SAR also serves as a place of education.
It brings in elders from tribes in the area who might be interested in looking at the creations of their ancestors, and it also brings in Native school children.
The idea is to expose them to the collections, but also to expose the collections to them. It's from their visits that we learn more about what we have here.
I walk through the vault, and it always amazes me because they say, "That's my grandmother's piece," or, "Oh my God, that's my auntie's piece." And I have no clue how they know, but they will want to pick them up because they know that it belongs to them.
I picked it up and the piece just started vibrating in my hand, and I just started to cry, and I said, my great-grandmother made this.
It really helps the collection flourish because of that interaction between the people in the community and SAR.
When Native people come here, there's a sense of pride that when they look at these things that they belong to them, and there's also the sense that the culture is still continuing.
Maybe it is encapsulated in a visit I had with an elderly Zuni Indian woman, and she said, "I'm the only woman in Zuni who knows how to make the ceremonial pots that are used in the kiva." I would like to have the opportunity to bring some of the younger women from Zuni to your collection to look at the old Zuni pots that are there. And then I teach them how to make that. I thought, gosh, that's great. That's exactly what we're all about. Over the next 3 months, 4 times, she brought women to the school. They studied our collections, and we revitalized a whole tradition in one tribe. That's a very poignant memory for me because it does symbolize the changes that we made in the lives of so many people.
We can tap into where we have come from, and from there we create our own sense of where we are now as Native people. SAR allows Native people to realize their voice.